So this is what's called the Schoology dashboard. And just to kind of give you an overview, Schoology is a learning management system. And what that does is it allows students to access course content online. And it also allows teachers to post things like assignments and content, tests, assessments, all of that so that students can actually function online. And it's a really great thing that we have Schoology right now, obviously during this situation, so that teachers can post work and students can still be learning during this process, okay? So what I'm gonna do, if you look at my screen, I'm gonna work my way across. This is the top navigation in Schoology, and I'm gonna go through each one of these with you. If you have the ability to log into Schoology, I would encourage you to do that, and then you can follow along and do the same things that I'm doing. It's not necessary. I am recording this so that I can make it available to you later if you want to refer back to it or you have questions.
Awesome.
Okay, so I'm going to start in the top left corner here under courses. When you click on courses, what you're going to see is what's called your dashboard. And these are placards. Each one of these placards represents a course that I'm either a teacher in or I'm a student in. For the most part, I'm a teacher in most of these, okay? And what happens is Schoology was trying to make it so it was visually appealing for teachers when they went in, because most teachers only have between 4 and 8 courses. Usually this view is sufficient for them to see all of their courses. Now, since I'm working on courses all the time and adding them, I have probably about 50 courses. And obviously in this initial dashboard, you can only see 12 of my courses. But if I wanted to see all of them, what I would do is just click on courses, and I'm there already. And then you go over to the right-hand side and click on my courses right here. So when I click on that, you will see a listing of all the courses that I'm a teacher or a student in, okay? And once you get to this full course listing, if you wanted to get to your course, all you need to do is find the link underneath the course name and then click on that and it would take you there. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on this one just to show you. It's taking me to my beginning Schoology webinar course, okay? Again, I'm just going to do a quick recap. You click on courses, and this view shows you the placards for each one of your courses. You can simply click on that to access your course. Or if you would like a full listing of all the courses that you are a teacher in, you can click on my courses in the top right corner there, and that will give you a listing of all your courses. Okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, the next important section in Schoology is groups. Okay, so when you click on the groups, you'll see that I'm a member of 4 groups. Okay, most likely when you click on groups, you'll see maybe a school-wide group, a school-wide group, and possibly if you're a department leader, you might be in a department leader group, and also you might be in a PLC group. Okay. In order to become a group member, you have to be invited by someone that is the leader of that group. So if, for example, you're in a math group at your school, your department leader has probably created that group and has invited you to that group. Okay. And that's why you're a member. There are some district-wide groups also, and some of you may be asked in the next week or 2 to become part of that district-wide group so that you can share resources with other math teachers or other English teachers across the district, okay? Might be a great way to share ideas and resources and lessons and that kind of thing. So this group feature can be a really great thing in terms of sharing information with others. I would say that you will mostly use the group function to access information and announcements from your PLC group, okay? So
Hey,
we've covered.
Quick question.
Sure, absolutely.
I just set up a class yesterday in order to
just keep in touch with students to share like success tips, like daily challenges and things like that. I want
Okay.
I want to add a person to also be able to contribute to this.
Okay.
Is that something I can do?
Now, Michael, I just want to clarify, is it a group or is it a class?
Well, I set it up as a course.
Okay. So yes, so I can show you quickly how to do that. I'm going to go into Schoology. I'm going to go into my Schoology, and I'll go to my webinar course. And under your webinar course, you have a members tab. Okay, this is
Okay.
what's called the global navigation here. But this is the main navigation at the top, across the top. But if you click on members, Michael, you're able to add members to your course here. Now, as a teacher, you won't have to add students to your course unless you're creating a manually created course, because most course shells are created through the student information system. So you should never have to create a course shell for one of your specific courses like English, ninth grade English, okay?
Okay.
And what happens is when a course shell is created from Synergy, all of your students are automatically enrolled in that course. If for some reason you get a student after that course has been, after the course has started, it usually takes a day or a day and a half for students to be added to your Schoology course from Synergy, okay?
Okay.
But if for some reason you wanted to add another member, you know, maybe another teacher that could have access to your course, all you do is you click on the members tab on the left when you're inside that course, you add members, and it'll give you, you need to make sure you're within the right area. You can pull this down and make sure you're in the right school. So if I wanted to add someone from Tempe High School, I would select Tempe High School right there, and then I could add that person's name. And I'll just add a teacher from my school. Okay, so I'm putting in her last name. I'm clicking on that search button, and I'm going to add Stephanie to my course now. I'm going to click on her name, and then I'm going to add her as a member. Okay. The one thing you need to keep in mind is when you do add somebody as a member, they are automatically enrolled as a student in that course. Okay. So if I wanted Stephanie to become a teacher or to have a teacher role in my course, I need to go over to the cog on the right-hand side, pull that down, and I need to make her an admin in the course. Okay. So I'm going to click on make admin.
Okay.
And I'm going to confirm. And you'll know that Stephanie is an admin now because she has a shield with a star next to her name.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Where it says add members and then it says all members admins, can
So
you add an admin through there too?
So what that's showing you is, it's good if you have it on all, it's going to show you all the people that are enrolled in your class.
Oh, gotcha.
If you click on members, this is going to be like your students, and if you have, and the admins are going to show you who the teachers are in the course.
Okay.
Okay. So if you click on all, it's going to be everybody. It'll be okay.
Yep.
So if I could ask you to hold just one sec. Sorry, I usually don't do this, but. So I'm going to go back to Schoology. So that's how you add a member there. Okay. Michael, did you get that? You feel good about
that? I just did that whole process. That's good. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay. And if you guys have any Schoology questions, even that, you know, even though it doesn't kind of fit in with maybe what we're talking about right now, just call it out or write it down in the chat. I'm happy to answer any and all questions. Okay. So we've covered courses, we've covered groups. I want to talk about resources now. Now, this is one of the most powerful tools in Schoology, I think. I want you to think of your resource area as your own personal office, file cabinet, and library, okay? When teachers start working in Schoology, their first inclination is to jump right into a course, to go right into a course like this, and to start building right in that course, like adding materials right away. But what I recommend is instead of doing that, go to your resource section And I would recommend that you build all of your course materials in this resource section. And the reason why I say that is because when you build directly in a course, at the end of that semester, that course is archived, okay? You still can locate that course, but it's a little harder to find. So if you build all your resources in the resource, it's just one click away. And that way you have these available to you at all times without having to go looking for them. And the beautiful thing about this resource section also is it's always going to be there for you. Even if a semester ends, this resource area will always be available. Okay, so what I always encourage teachers to do is to build your course content here because it is super easy to transfer it to a course. Okay, so let's say that you were teaching freshman English and senior English, and maybe you're doing 10th grade English too. So I'm going to add one more file here. And you simply, this is your home area. This is an area that nobody else can access but you, okay? So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to add a file under my resources. So I'm going to say add folder, and I'm going to say 10th grade English. And because I'm feeling kind of purple right now, I'm going to do a purple folder. So I'm creating that, and now you see that I have my 10th grade folder down here at the bottom, okay? So what I would do is if I was working to build course content for my 10th grade, I would click on this folder, and you notice there's nothing in here right now, but maybe I want to start adding folders like, I'm going to add a folder and I'm going to call it poetry. I don't know what they teach in 10th grade English, I'm sorry, but I'm going to make it, I'll make it. And I'm going to have another folder for author study. And I'll make that yellow. And then I'm going to have another folder in here. And I'm going to call this one literature. And that's the books that we're going to study. And I'll make that one green. Okay. So now what I've done in my 10th grade English, I'm going to go back here just to give you a view. In my 10th grade English, I'll click on that. I've created a folder structure within that 10th grade English that will allow me to go into that individual folder and start making resources in there, okay? And that way I've got this really great organized folder structure, so whenever I need to find something, it's super easy to find, okay? I'm gonna go back to that home page within my resources. I'm still in there, and let's say I wanna add, I've completed all the content that I want to add to one of my courses. In order to transfer this folder to my course, all I need to do is go over to this cog on the right-hand side and say add to course. When I click on add to course, it will give me a list of all my active courses in Schoology, and I can pick and choose which ones I want to go or where I want this file to go. And let's say I want it to go into my webinar course right here. I'm going to click on this, my beginning webinar course. I have some folders already established in my webinar course. I can choose those folders. The folders are, the main folders are all the way to the left, and then the subfolders have the little dashes in front of them. So I can go into a main folder, or I can choose to go into a subfolder. So I'm just going to say I want to put it in my week 3. So I'm going to include that in my week 3, and then I'm going to say add. Maybe. Run, hamster, run. Okay, so now I'm going to go into my course, my webinar course. Remember, I put that into my week 3. I'm going to click on my week 3, and now you'll see my curriculum folder has been moved there. Okay, so again, I can't stress enough what a great resource this is to build your course materials in your resource section. And then once you're done with that, you can move them very simply by clicking on the gear on the right and adding to your course. Okay.
John?
Yes.
Are you essentially just copying it? So you didn't lose it in the resources, you kind of just copied it.
That is a wonderful question. I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you. See, it's still appearing here. All I'm doing is it will always stay here, okay? Unless you move it. If you use the move function,
right,
that's a little bit different. But moving it will only allow you to move it within your resource section. It doesn't allow you to move it to a course. Okay. So yes, it's just making a copy that is actually being moved to your course. Okay. And it doesn't always have to be a file either. I'm going to click on this for 1 second. And if you wanted to just add one quiz to a section, you can just click on that individual quiz right here and say add to course. And then again, I could add it to my beginning webinar course, and I'm going to put it in that folder for week 3. And I'm just going to say add. So again, when I go back to my courses, I go to my webinar course for week 3. You'll see, I think I might have embedded it. Yeah, I put it in here. Okay. So, it's, as you can see, it's very easy to move from your resources section to anywhere, to any one of your courses. And it can be done in seconds. So again, I would strongly encourage you to build in your resources rather than to build directly in your courses. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so the next one, if you're looking in your version of Schoology right now, you don't have a tools function here. But the reason why I like to talk to you guys about tools is because as an administrator, I have the ability to go in as any teacher or staff member in order to help them add content to their course or to do some troubleshooting in there. So if I wanted to, I could go in as a teacher and I could, it's kind of like Impersonate was for Canvas. I can go in and impersonate a teacher and actually go in and help them with their course. So that's a great feature. And it's something that I use very frequently to go in and help to troubleshoot if teachers are having issues in their courses. Okay.
So that's more a tool for you than for
Yes,
us.
it's definitely a tool for me. You do not have that option, but I always like to let people know that if you are struggling with something in your course, don't spend a lot of time struggling with it. Ask your ed tech to jump in with you and to show you what could be going on in there. Okay.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
So I'm going to jump back into my webinar course again. Okay, so at this point, we've covered courses. That shows you where all of your courses are on your dashboard. Groups are groups that you have been invited to either through your school or the district. Resource is the area where I encourage you to build your course content and later transfer it when you're ready. And my tool section is so that I can access other users in the system. And then I'm going to start over here. I'm going to work my way across here now. And this little handy dandy search is really helpful. It does 2 things. You can search for students in here by putting in a student name, or you can search for content within the course. So let's say you've got, let's say I created 9 weeks of folders here, and I can't remember which week that I put my Romeo and Juliet unit. When I click on this search bar, rather than clicking on each one of my weeks to try to find that, I can just put Romeo and Juliet in here. And it would tell me where I could find Romeo and Juliet in there. Okay, so that can
be coming up because you don't have a Romeo and Juliet in there.
It is because I don't have a Romeo and Juliet. That's a very good point, Michael. I guess I should have picked something where I knew I had Romeo. Maybe I should create a Romeo and Juliet for my next class. But it is kind of a handy dandy little feature, especially when you have a lot of content already in your housed in your course. Okay. One thing I'm going to bring to your attention is you'll see on the dashboard. This is pretty much what the student would see when they are looking at the course. Okay, so when they come into a course, right away they'll see all of the material. Okay, and they'll also see this little calendar here that'll kind of give them a heads up. Hey, you've got a lot of things that are upcoming in this week that are due. So you're going to want to, keep focused and make sure that you're meeting the deadlines, because it'll give the assignment, and it will also give the date that the assignment is due. Okay.
Is that
Can you
just
click
for
on
our
that?
course or for all the courses they have?
This is just for this particular course. But every time they click into a course, they will see what is due for this particular course. But I'll be getting to that in a second. That was a great question, whoever asked that. When we get to the calendar part, I'll explain that a little bit too.
Hey,
Okay.
John,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna check in because I think there's questions.
Yeah, I just have a question. Like I said, I'm new to this. I'm sorry.
Sure.
How do students get to ours? Do we have to add students so that they see it? And
You don't actually.
But-
What happens is at the beginning of a semester, we've got it all set up in Synergy. These courses are all set up in Synergy, and the students are enrolled in Synergy that way.
well, the problem is that a couple of us on here are SLPs, so we
Okay.
don't have courses.
Okay.
So our caseload won't be on there yet.
Right. So what you can do is there's a way to create manually created courses
Okay.
that you can add students to.
Okay.
Okay. And from there, you can create your own course materials that way. And I'm
Okay.
actually going to be doing some, I actually was talking to several people about doing a separate training for SLPs because they don't have courses. In that training, I would
Nice.
show them how to create their own courses and how to add students to those courses. Okay.
We would
So
love that. We would love
I think that's coming. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I'm going to check the chat because I see that there's a number. I'm going to make sure. Okay, great. So it doesn't look like we have any questions. I'm going to go back in here. And again, this is what the dashboard would look like for a student. And the reason why I think especially for teachers that are not super familiar with Schoology, this folder structure might be a great way to set up at least for the first couple weeks of the class so that students know exactly where to go, like week 1 closure, week 2 closure. And what happens is if all the students complete the week 1 closure material and you're ready for that to be taken off, you can go over to the cog right here and you can unpublish that, okay? And that way that will not appear on the student's dashboard anymore, okay? And then they know.
Disappear, or it just can't be accessed.
So can you say that again? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Will it disappear, or will it just be unable for them to access?
It will. So from a teacher standpoint, if I'll go ahead and unpublish it right now. I'm going to unpublish it. You'll notice that I get a gray. I get this grade, and what that grayed out is telling me that I've unpublished that.
Gotcha.
Now I'll go in as a student right now, and you'll see that it'll be week 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if you go up to course options right here in the left-hand corner, I'm going to do that pull-down menu, and I want to view the course as a student. This is always a great tool so you can see what it looks like from their perspective. So view course as, and then I'm going to pick my one student in here because I only have one enrolled. And notice that that week 1 folder is not available to them anymore because it is unpublished.
Gotcha.
Okay, so this is what the student would see. This is what's upcoming for them. Okay, so that is a great little tool. I'm going to go back to the teacher view. But again, if you wanted to look from a student's perspective, you go over into the left-hand side, course options, and you can view course as, and normally you would have all of your students in your class. You could pick any student you wanted, but they'll all have the same view. And then this would show you what they see. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to publish this just so I have it there.
Hey, John, one more thing.
Sure.
Hey, click on one of those upcoming assignments on the right so we can
Okay.
see what it looks like.
Okay. This isn't a pretty one. Let me go back and do a pretty one. All right, let me go back and let me do this coping with stress during crisis. So click on that, and this is what the student would see. So this is a sample discussion board, and when I do my adding materials to a Schoology class, I try to talk about putting different steps in for students so that they know exactly what they need to do in a discussion board. Because for a discussion board to be really robust, students should be making initial posts and they should be responding to peers because you want to see dialogue happening, okay? In this example that I created, I had the students reading an article. So they have a link to an article. And then after they've read the article, they respond to my prompt by creating a post. So they'll go in here and they'll create a post. I'm just gonna do some gobbledygook. And once they've created that post, they post it, and then they could go in, and once somebody has posted something, they can reply to another person's post by clicking on reply, okay? But this is exactly what the student would see. So I just want to kind of give you. So I'm gonna stop and check in real quick to see if anyone has any questions right now.
No, but this is very helpful, John. Thank you.
Yay, I'm glad. Okay, so we're gonna go back to Schoology, and we've done the search feature. So now I'm gonna go into apps. This is apps, and you would never know it by just you have to click on it. Come on, hamster, run. Okay, so in here, Tempe Union has purchased some specific apps that we thought would be good for teachers in terms of engagement for students. Some of these are automatically given. Some apps are ones that we've purchased to make available to teachers. But when you click on the App Center, you'll see that there's quite a few apps that are available. And we have purchased some of these for teachers. Like we have Quizlet, that's built in. And we have some of the ones for older students in here. You'll see that there's a lot of elementary ones. And I'm sure as teachers right now with the closure, you're getting a million emails from different vendors that are interested in having you try their product right now. So if you would like to try their products, you certainly can sign up for those. But what you would have to do is link out to them from Schoology in order for them to work for your students. Unless we have an enterprise or a district-wide license for that app. And if you have any questions about what apps are available, I certainly can answer that for you, okay?
So all the ones that you have here are licensed and available through the district?
Some of these are, like we have Ed Puzzle and we have McGraw-Hill. We do not have Nearpod, but some of these we do. Like we have YouTube, and in a minute I'm going to take you all to connect your Google Drives and your YouTube. That's something I do a little bit later. But yeah, some of these apps are available, Michael. Not all of them are available, though.
Okay.
So again, if you are interested in an app or you are interested in embedding an app that you've signed up for, let me know and I can show you how to do that. Or another one of your ed techs, okay? So next we're going to cover up in the right-hand corner, you'll see that I'm clicking on the calendar. And when that calendar opens, I'm going to take a sip of water real quick. I've been talking all day. When that calendar opens, you'll see two things. You'll see my schedule of all of my Hangouts that I'm doing with you guys right now. But you're also seeing some of the assignments that I've created in my courses, okay? And you'll see the due dates for them, all right? So anytime I put in an assignment, it's going to show up in my calendar, and it will also show up in my students' calendar. I've got way too much in here right now, so it does appear very overwhelming. But when a student clicks on that calendar, they can kind of plan out their week and see when they need to do something to get it done by Friday. Okay, and there's 3 different views in this calendar. It's kind of like one of those desk calendars that you have. You can do the monthly view. You can do it by week, or you can do it by day. Okay. And what this does, again, is just shows all of the activities that you've put into your course and by the due date. Okay. Any questions about calendar?
No.
No.
Okay. So you'll notice I'm going to the next icon, which is the mail icon. And personally, I'm not discouraging you from using this, but I don't think it's a very strong feature in Schoology. when you go to click on this icon, you'll notice that I have 6 messages right here. And if I view all, I can see all of the messages that I've gotten in the past. And this is my inbox. And my sent box, you can see that I've only sent 1 message in my whole history. So I don't think this is a strong feature, and I don't think it's a great feature for teachers to use because when you click on to create a new message, so I'm going to click on that to create a new message, it does not allow me to email the entire class from here. Okay, so I have to put in individual names of a student. Okay.
Would it email it to the student's inbox? Like would Synergy or them say, hey, you have something in Schoology?
It would. It
Okay,
would. It'll
you.
give them the message in Schoology too. My recommendation though is if you want to email students and parents, you definitely use the communication feature in Synergy. That is much more powerful. Okay.
Okay.
And that way you wouldn't have to be inputting every student's name. It's too much. Okay.
Is that only available for those of us who have a class? Like
the Synergy tool?
yeah.
I
The
think,
communication
Michael,
power?
I think it is, but let me find out.
Okay.
Okay. Because I do teach that course. I'm actually teaching it a little bit later this afternoon at 1 o'clock. If you are interested in using the communication feature in Synergy and just putting in a plug for my webinar.
Shameless.
So yeah, I'm shameless, I know. So the mail feature is not super powerful in Synergy or in Schoology. So again, I would say if you are going to use the mail feature, go ahead and use Synergy right now, especially because Synergy allows you to CC parents on things right now. And I think it's very important to be keeping parents in the loop on what's going on. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This next section is the bell. And the bell is notifications. So when I click on notifications, you're going to see that I've gotten some notifications from some different people. The notifications that I received are based on the settings that I have that I've put in my profile. And we'll be jumping to that next. So on certain courses that I teach, I have turned on the notifications so that whenever a student submits an assignment, I am getting that. I'm getting a heads up that it's time for me to go check that assignment and grade it. Okay. Now for a teacher that has 4 or 5 classes, I would not recommend that you have a notification every time a student submits something. You will have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of notifications. Not a good idea. Okay? So in this session, I'm going to show you how to set your notifications so that you are not receiving thousands every week. Okay. Because I'm only teaching a few courses at a time and I usually have 5 to 10 students, for me to have the notification like that, it's okay. Okay. So these are my notifications and I can click on view all if I want to see all of my notifications. And it will also give a running list and history of all the notifications I received in the past. Okay. Also under that notifications, be aware of that because whenever you get a notification, it'll put a number on there. Like you can see next to my mail, I have 6 unread right now. So before I clicked on that notification, I had 3 on there.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you see a number, it's probably a good idea to click on that to see what's going on. It's either going to be a notification or a request. Requests are when you have been added to a group or you've been added to a course. So that's like a formal invitation that's saying, I need you to formally request my invitation before you can get into that. So let's say that you, your DL, your department leader, has invited you to one of the groups. And let's say you're in a math group. What happens is he or she will add you to that math group, and then you will get a request over here, okay? And it would say like a 1 here, and you would click on request, and before you can be admitted to that group, you need to accept the invite, okay? So if you do see a number on your bell here, you always want to click on that bell to make sure you are checking out your notifications, which are probably from your students, or the request, which is an invitation to a course or to a group, Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm going to take a quick stop, and I want to check in with all of you to make sure everyone's doing good.
Yes.
So I got a great question. It says, how do you feel about sending messages through Schoology via course options, send message? Are teachers having success sending messages that way? Claudia, you can do that option, but that's not one that I recommend. Again, I would recommend if you're going to be sending a message that you want to CC parents, I would use the communication feature in Synergy. I will stop and show you a quick feature. I don't normally do this in the beginner class, but I will show you quickly how you can add a note or an announcement to the top of your course. So I'll jump in, and I'm going to go into my trusty webinar course again. And notice on the left-hand navigation, the global navigation bar, there's an area called Updates. I'm going to click on that update. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to send a message to my class. Now, realizing that this message is staying within Schoology, this does not go to their email addresses. This goes directly to their Schoology class. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an announcement. And I'm just putting up a few little things here, and my typing is probably abysmal. Apologize for that. And when you have this text box and you're in the updates, you can go, if you've already created the message somewhere else, like in Word, you can just copy and paste it. So I'm actually going to copy and paste some information in here too. And in order to make this announcement appear at the top of your course, what you're going to do is you'll go to that little icon next to post, and you're going to click on that, and you're going to check on the bell. Okay, if you do not check on the bell, it will only go to the update section over here. But if you click on the bell, it will go at the top of your course, front and center, so that's the first thing your students will see. So I recommend if you do an announcement like this, you click on the bell and post. Okay, notice what happens now. I'm going to go to my materials. This is what the student would see when they log into a course. They'll see this announcement right away. Okay, so if you do an announcement, make sure that you click on that little bell next to the post so that it appears at the top of your course. And the reason why I say that is because students, when they normally log into their computer, I'm going to remove this announcement for a second. When they go into their computer or their course, they're not used to clicking on updates. Now, they'll receive, if you send out an update through Schoology, it will give them a number 1 right here, but I can tell you with utmost certainty that they're never going to click on that to see your update. Okay, if they did, they would see it. They would see all the updates that you've done in your course, but chances are they're not used to doing that. So my feeling is if you are going to do an update within Schoology like this, you need to make sure that you do click on that little bell next to the post so that it appears on the top of your screen. Okay?
Hey, John, will it also appear as a notification?
Okay, it might. Not always, Michael, because students have a tendency to go into their settings at the very beginning of every semester and turn everything off so they can tune their teacher out.
Gotcha.
Okay, so they don't want any notifications whatsoever. So the reason why I say it would send them a notification up here if they have it checked off for course announcements. But most kids have turned that feature off. So that's why I tell you if you are going to create a course announcement, do it right here and make sure that it shows up at the top of your screen. So it's the first thing they see.
Gotcha.
Okay.
John, if I could, and I just wanted to make sure I understand that clearly because I attended one of your other webinars. They won't, the minute if you click the bell for an announcement,
Right.
and open up the course, they click on the course tile.
Right.
They're not going to have to go into a specific folder within that course, right?
They do not. They do
Right.
not. They'll see it right at the top. They'll see it right at the top of their screen in that
Okay.
particular course. Now, if you wanted to send a greeting for every single one of your classes that's all the same, rather than cutting and pasting and going into each individual class, you could put that greeting again. I'm just going to cut and paste something from Word. It's a bunch of gobbledygook. But what you can do if you're sending that same message to everyone is, see this little, what is that called? It's a clipboard. Thank you, clipboard. If we click on copy here, what it allows you to do is put that same message in any of your courses.
Excuse me.
Fabulous. God bless you.
Thanks,
So
guys.
that copy feature is awesome because it allows you to copy it to all of your courses if you wanted to, or you can pick and choose which course you want to send it to.
Oh,
Okay.
that's a beautiful thing. Thank you, John.
It is a beautiful thing because you certainly don't want to be cutting and pasting in each one. The one thing I do want to remind you, when you start adding stuff like this, teachers often forget to click on the bell. Don't forget to click on the bell because the students aren't going to see it otherwise, okay?
Oh, and one more thing, John, if you wanted to just do a nice, warm, friendly welcome to Schoology on the first day on Monday, you can record, whether it's video, voice, audio, or video, right in the announcement feature update. I'm sorry, I'm using Canvas terms. I got to digress. Update. I don't want to use Canvas terms with you and confuse everybody. So,
so what I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of this so it doesn't take up any room. So we'll digress a little bit, but yes, if you wanted to do a video instead of, what I would do is I would tell them to click on the link for the video right here in that section. And then what you can do is, see the little microphone right here? You can click on that and you can make an audio recording. Like if you feel like you're at your best and you're not ready for a glamour shot, you can do a recording here with just your voice. But I would recommend, if you're going to go all out and do a recording, click on the microphone and add audio and video. And what that allows you to do is start your recording, and you can see that if I clicked on start recording, my students could see me and they can hear my voice. And then what happens is, once I stop recording, it becomes an attachment to this announcement, and they can click on that attachment and see me and hear my voice.
And you recommend doing that right inside the update feature. I wouldn't maybe make the recording and store it in resources and copy and paste.
It doesn't matter. You could do it there too. It's totally up to you what you want to do. You could also create a page, and you could incorporate the video in the page too. Okay.
Do you have the best recommendation given your experience with it for doing it? Is it just easier to do it in the update feature?
I think it is. And the reason why I like it in the update feature is because, again, it's front and center. When they log into their course, it's the first thing they're going to see. Okay. And again, if you want, you can do the audio and do the recording, and you can copy that recording to all of your courses. You don't have to make one for each course. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you so much, John.
No worries. Okay. So what I'm going to do is we're going to return to my course, my webinar course. And we've made it all the way over to John Sharp now in the right-hand corner. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that. If you guys have capability to get into Schoology right now, you could do this too. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my profile. I'm going to click on that. And you'll see I've got my glamour shot in here.
You sure do.
I certainly don't look like that today, right? I need a dye job.
I can see it.
I need to get to the groomer. But if you wanted to add your own picture here, all you do is simply go over to that area and click on Edit Picture. Now, you would need to attach a file from your computer. So what I would recommend is that you share that. If you have a picture on your phone, send it to yourself via email and then save it to your computer. And then you could click on Attach File, and then you find the picture wherever it is on your computer. You select the picture and then hit Open, and that will put your shot in there. Okay. if you're also interested in putting a little bit of information for your students about yourself, knowing that you know they're going to click on this to find out more about you, you can write a short bio. Yeah, right? They get enough of you during the day, right? So, but you can write a short bio by clicking on this. And when I say short, I mean really short. This is just general information here. If you do decide to put in your bio information, you need to make sure you save changes. Okay. You also can add an interest area here too if you wanted to. And if you click on that, it'll allow you to add interests and activities that you're interested in too. So I don't really teach any students, so I haven't added a bio or anything like that. But when I teach at ASU, I always have a bio and talk about my activities. It's a great way to connect with students, especially when you're teaching online. Okay. Okay, so that's pretty much the profile section. Again, I'm going to go back up to John Sharp, and I'm going to do that pull down menu. And this time I'm going to go to settings. Okay. And this is where it gets important for you, especially when we get to notifications. When you go into your settings, you're going to want to make sure all of your information is correct. Now, this information comes over from Synergy, so it should be correct in here. But if it is not, you'll want to correct that, make any changes, and then you can save those changes right here. I don't recommend that you make any changes on anything else on this area. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So I wouldn't recommend any more changes on here. The one thing that's going to be really important to you is on this next tab, which is called notifications. So click on that. And what you're going to see is how I have my notifications set up for both email and for my phone. Okay. Most of you probably don't have a phone set up right right now. Most teachers don't want a phone set up want a phone set up because you're just already too connected at school with your email. You don't have to do the phone connection, but if you are a die-hard person that absolutely wants to get notifications through your phone, you just click on the phone thing at the top here, and then you add your phone number, and that will automatically connect Schoology to your phone. And then if you do decide to do that, make sure that you absolutely want these set to either on, off, or custom, all right? And you'll notice that my phone is connected and it's saying that I have my Google Pixel, unfortunately. Okay, so there's some different areas under notifications too. Academic have to do with all of your courses, okay? So these are the ones that you really need to be cognizant of in terms of notifications. You've got school groups here too, and those are the groups that you've been invited to, like from your PLC or from your department leader, or and then you've got your district groups, and then your school groups. Your school group might be like I'm at Tempe High, so that might be, we have a course set up specifically for Tempe High, okay? So your main focus really should be on this area right here, okay? So I'm going to go through and I'm going to kind of explain like a couple of these. Course update posted. Now, remember how I just showed you how to do an update? If you want that to come to your email, like you want a copy of that, you can put that to on, okay? If you do not, you would put it to off. And the really cool thing, I'm going to put this to off for a second, and then I'm going to go back in and I'm going to show you what custom means, okay? So when I click on custom, it allows me to pick and choose the specific classes that I want to have my update for. So if I post an update to my beginning blended learning class, I can make it so I will receive a notification every time that happens. Or if I want to do it for this basic arithmetic class, I can pick that too. And when I click on submit, that will save that. So I will only receive course updates for those two classes that I selected. Does that make sense? The custom is kind of a nice feature. So if I'm only teaching 1 or 2 classes at a time, I can put it to custom so that I receive an email notification when a student submits an assignment. And But what I recommend is you go through each one of these carefully and decide if you truly and absolutely positively want a notification when this feature happens, okay? Again, if you are a teacher and you have 5 or 6 classes, you are not going to want to receive a notification every single time a student submits an assignment. Because if you have 38 students in a class, you're going to get all 38 times 5. So that's a lot of notifications for one day, okay? Again, the on is for on, the off is for off, and the custom allows you to pick and choose which courses that will apply to, okay? I'm just going to check back in with you just to see if you have any questions so far about the notifications. They can students see? They cannot. I guess that's a good thing. Okay. Yes, they cannot see that. Okay. I'm going to head back again to my Schoology. We're going to be wrapping this up because.
Oh. Hello?
I think John wrapped it up.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
Okay, I guess maybe it just goes off at the allotted time. I don't know. I'm so new to
there
this.
you
Oh, there he is.
Oh, he's back?
You're on mute, John.
Seriously, John, were we that bad of a group? No comment.
Sorry about that. I got kicked out and it brought me back on mute too. So apologies for that. So, that was crazy. I was like,
That was
where
good
is
timing. You were just talking about wrapping it up.
I know.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it up. And so again, I'm going to just show you one more thing under settings. So I'm going to go back into settings. And a really beautiful thing is if you are creating work and you've saved it at one point or another, but then you accidentally deleted it later, you can come into this area here. You'll come down, you go to settings and go to the recycle bin tab. And there's been several times when I have deleted something and I'm like, oh, I can't believe it. I worked on that for hours.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing about this, you come in here and all you need to do is find it because it will always keep a running tally of all the things that you've deleted. You come in here, go to that little, and then you can restore.
Oh.
And you can tell it where you want it to restore to, okay? So this is a handy dandy feature and I've used it many times in Schoology because I've had one of those oops moments, okay? So just keep that in mind. If you have saved something in the past and you accidentally delete it later, there's going to be a record of it in this recycle bin here, okay?
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to go back to my course now, my webinar course. So what we've done is we've covered all the navigation across the top. So you know what all these features are right here. The only other thing that actually we ended up covering it because Michael asked the question is, if you click on members, it will show you all the active participants in your class, okay? Like I said, you should never need to add students to your course unless you've created a manually created course, okay? Most of your courses that teachers receive are going to be created by Synergy, okay? But if for some reason you do have to create your own course, you certainly can add members to your course that way, okay? One thing that we don't cover in this initial or beginner session of Schoology is setting up the grade book. But I will tell you, we will be providing webinars on how to set this up. And it really is great. If you're using Schoology all the time, all of your grades will automatically go to your grade book here. And then you can see I have a lot of assignments in here, but no grades yet. Once the grades are in, I can click on this sync button. And what that'll do is it'll send all my grades to Synergy. So I don't have to manually input them. So
Will it send them as individual assignments or will it do one grade?
It depends. It depends. It does one section at a time. I have something which is called section links. So if you look here, I have multiple sections in my course. Let me go back to gradebook. And but what it does is I can sync all of these assignments at one time. Let's say I had grades in here for all of them. I can click on that sync button and I can sync all of these assignments at one time, or I can go down to the feature, which is the SIS Connect down here. And I can sync maybe. Come on, hamster, run faster. Oh, I don't know why that's not allowing me doing that. But usually I can go down here and I can sync one assignment at a time if I choose to do so. Okay. But I just wanted you to be aware that there are going to be some upcoming sessions on gradebook and setting up your gradebook. So if you plan to be using Schoology, which I think you all will be using Schoology, and keeping grades in here, setting up your gradebook is totally worthwhile because it'll take about 15 minutes. And once that is done, you can sync your grades right to Synergy without having to work between the two systems. Okay. So that's pretty much normally what I cover in this course. I'm going to check back in with you. If you have other questions, maybe that aren't related to this, I'm happy to answer any other Schoology questions too.
John, thank you. You rock. I'm going to sign off. Thank you.
Okay, Michaela, did you get a chance to sign in?
I did.
Okay, I just want you to get IP credit for it. So
I'm a long-term sub, so it's a little different for me. I'm just doing it so I can keep going with the assignment that I'm in, and it's the upside of it that we all get to dive in and learn this. And
right, very
I think
cool.
it's a great learning experience for the students too.
Excellent. I think it is. It's going to be a different experience, but I think they're going to get a lot out of it too. Okay.
Well, stay healthy and good spirits.
Okay. You too, everyone. Thanks for joining the webinar, and I will see you again on a future episode. Okay.
John, how do you sign in?
Who just said that? Hope. Don't worry, Hope. I'll sign you in. Okay. What is your last name, Hope?
Grunow, Grunow.
Okay. I'll sign you in. Don't worry about it.
Thanks.
Okay. No worries. Okay. So if you have any questions, certainly you can email me. It's jsharp@tuhsd.az. Did I get it all in there? k12.az.us. So, and I think I had a question that I'll make sure I answered it. Dina, are you still on the call? I think she must have left.
John, I was going to ask the same question as Dina was. For us parents, do we are you going to send the link? Are you going to send the link us for us to sign in, or how do we do that?
I'm waiting to hear back from IT. Like some of you have gotten messages from. Let me see. I just want to check something real quick.
Okay.
So Daniela, you should have gotten a message in your Google Drive or your Google email from Schoology.
Okay.
So you should be good to sign in, okay? I had some others that I put in on the first day, like Cece and John and Christina and Don Willoughby. And they're still having a few issues accessing, and I'm working on that right now. But you should be able to go to your Gmail and look for something from Schoology. It will give you the link to get to the login page, and it will also give you your username and your password. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I was able to do that yesterday on Schoology, so I was able to log in. And you send me the link right now, and I was able to sign up, but it asked me for a member, like the name of the member or something like that. I don't know. It asked me something besides my name and then my
Ooh, let me go. You mean in the sign up sheet?
Yeah, that sign up sheet. It also asked me for I filled up the instruction for the webinar name. I was not able to do any like on that one,
Okay.
and it's signed me out. So
Okay, I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and log you in then. No worries.
okay.
Okay. So I've got to add Hope and I've got to add you, Daniela, to the, I want to write that down so I don't forget.
Okay, thank you so much, John, and thank you for. I mean, I know I really probably didn't have anything to do with us paras for the Schoology, but for sure, it also it kind of just made me a little bit aware of what
Sure, I just need to be able to
what we
navigate
can do for-
and know how to get around in Schoology, okay? Dina, were you
Okay,
able, take care, Daniela. Dina, were you able to sign into this seminar?
I haven't tried. Do you want me to try?
Nah, I'll go ahead and put you in. It's not a big deal.
Okay, I just wasn't sure because we don't get credit for the IPIP. So
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if we actually needed to sign in or not.
It's kind of helpful for us to kind of keep track of how many people were in our seminars too.
Okay,
I think teaching and learning, but don't worry about it. I'll put you in there. It's not a big deal at all.
okay, awesome. Thank you, John.
You're welcome. Did you have any questions before you go?
No,
I think.
oh, not me. Thank you. Hi, Daniela.
Hi, Dina. Well, thank you, John, for this little meeting and showing us around Schoology and stuff.
No problem. And if you have questions, again, you can just email me. It's jsharp@tuhsd. Yes, Donna.
Okay, thank you
I'll
so
add you
much.
too. I'm ready. I'm
Okay,
ready.
then thank you so much, John.
Okay, take care.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Donald, before you go, do you have any questions? Okay, I absolutely will add you into the sign-in, and it looks like that might be all the questions then. All right, you guys have a wonderful afternoon, and I will see you at a future webinar maybe.
All right,
Take
thank
care.
you.
Thank
All right.
you.
Bye.
Bye.